Thank goodness this is on Facebook Live, guys, so you could always go back and watch what you missed. Thank you, Shirley. It's Monday for me too. All right, when your costs just creep up. If you're taking notes, circle that word, highlight that word, because this happens to all of us. When your costs just creep up with no corresponding increase in results, that is when you really have risk. We call that good money chasing bad business practices. You correct it by pulling out your stop sign and reevaluating that expense. In terms of insulating your company against unexpected income shifts, you should be paying attention to that. Shift is coming. Pay attention to how you're spending your money. Now's the time to make those corrections, not when you're in it. You want to concentrate on keeping your fixed costs, like rent, salaries, leases, etc., as low as possible. If you have higher fixed costs, boy, this is so important. Please pay attention. If you have higher fixed costs and face a shortfall in revenue, you might be tempted to cut back on variable or unfixed expenses like lead generation. That's important. Really, really important. All right, stick to the budget. As your business grows from one stage to the next, your actual costs will be very different. However, your percentage may not be. What we have discovered is that no matter where you are on the continuum, the percentages remain remarkably stable. Figure 18 and 19 on page 157 illustrate some general examples of what budgets at various production levels might look like. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to take a look at figures 18 and 19 on page 157. I think we are. Cross your fingers. This works. There it is. Yay. All right. Are you looking at expense detail? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's see if I can make this picture a little bigger. There we go. Can you guys see that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right, so at the top of the page, if I'm doing $6 million in sales, my cost of sales is company dollar and franchise fee to Keller Williams Realty. Now, depending on what office you're in, that number could be anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000. If you're in San Diego, your cost of sales is probably $80,000 a year, right? So it's going to be different depending on where you are located. The number that Gary used here is $21,000. Okay, cool. So my gross profit, if I'm making $180,000, is $159,000. Simply 180 minus 21 leaves 159. My expenses are at 33% or $59,300. I'm going to tell you, you can cut those expenses at least in half. It doesn't need to be $59,300. As you can see below in the expense detail, I made a couple changes based on the real estate business that we're in today. So for example, item number 4 under expense detail, Gary writes in $4,000 as your fee for technology. Well, you know, if you're with Keller Williams, your fee for technology is much, much, much less than $4,000. Even if you add on a few pieces of bolt-on technology on top of Command, you're still only spending $1,000 a year on technology. Big savings. All right. Your net income is $99,700 or 55%. Now go all the way to the right side of the page and you'll see when you're doing $40 million in sales, you're generating $1,200,000. Now we're getting into the 30-30-40 model of the economic model of the real estate agent, which means if I'm generating over $1 million in commissions, my cost of sales should be 30%. My expenses should be 30%, and my profit should be 40%. As you can see, your expenses, your net will go up and down based on the level of business that you're in. And there's this funky place in the middle where you're actually going to be out of balance as you're growing your company. But as long as you stick to the 30-30-40 model, this will come back. Okay, let's stop share. I'm going to get really, really creative here and see if I can bring up my iPad, and we're going to draw out the 30-30-40 model at different levels and have a conversation around what this looks like. This is going to take me a minute. So as I'm doing this, talk to me.
Hey, John.
Yes.
This brings up a really good, I was having a conversation with another agent, not a Keller Williams agent, who talked about how she spends $3,000 a month on Zillow leads. And then there's another agent in her company, he spends $12,000. And, you know, I would love to have a way to walk them through to see exactly what it is they're not doing. Is that something that we can get into? And because,
Yes.
you know, I would like to, you know, help them along and see if I can get them to Keller Williams without, you know, sounding like, you know, the Kool-Aid drinker.
I like that. Hold on, stop video. Okay, cool. So Valerie, absolutely. And one of the things you could do is share these videos with them. The other thing is open up your Millionaire Real Estate Agent book from pages 153 to 157 and just have a conversation with them on the budget model. Because most real estate agents are looking at this as long as I'm getting my money back, then the investment works. In other words, if I'm spending $36,000 a year on Zillow and my average commission check is $8,000, as long as I'm generating 9 closed deals, then it's a good investment. Well, that's a break even. No, I did that backwards. 4. As long as I'm closing 4 deals, no, 8. It's definitely Monday. 8 times 5. As long as I'm closing 5 deals, then I'm getting my money back, and that's a good investment. That's where they're coming from, Valerie, right? And I would say, actually, you're looking for $360,000 in gross income for that to be a good investment. Now, if you're getting $360,000 from that $36,000 that you're investing in Zillow, you might want to keep doing that. Valerie, did that help?
Yes, it did. And then, of course, they're going to say, well, you know, that's what I do. What am I going to do otherwise? I mean, of course, that means lead generating.
Well, absolutely. I would take them to the lead generation model, and I would have a conversation around how we generate leads. And let's just talk internet leads, because that's what Zillow is, right? Ask them what their cost per lead is. They probably don't know the answer to that question, by the way. And more than likely, their cost per lead is running about $15 to $20 per lead. And then ask them, if I could show you how you could generate the same number of leads for $1 a lead, would you want to know how to do that? Did that help, Valerie?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, so level 1. Praise God, this is working. All right, level 1 is you and you. That's the $6 million in sales, by the way. So going back to the previous figure 18 and 19 that I shared with you, when you're at $6 million in sales, this is your organizational model. Now, as you grow your business, we move to level 2. And level 2 is you and, hold on. Why isn't that working? Give me a second. Fascinating.
It's Monday.
Right? Level 2 is you and an admin. And at level 2, you're at $10 million in sales. Okay, as you grow your business, it's time for the next hire. And at level 3, it's you plus your lead admin, and you have a transaction coordinator. And you are now at $16.7 million in sales. And we're going to grow to level 4. And I'm going to erase all of this and start over. This is fun. Oh my gosh. Time for a new iPad. Okay. Level 4. And we're going to close on this one. So level 4, let's go back because I was wrong on the previous one. Level 4 is $16.7 million in sales, which means I am generating $500,000 in gross commissions. Okay, so here's what this looks like. I've got you, your lead admin, the transaction coordinator, and a listing manager. That is my core admin group that is supporting my business at $16.7 million in sales and $500,000 in GCI. I'm also going to hire a buyer agent. Oh, that was great. There we go. I'm going to hire a buyer agent. Shirley, I don't know if I wanted to record this. And a showing assistant. And an ISA. All right. That's what my organizational model looks like at $16.7 million. And if I'm following the model, I have $500,000 in GCI. Now, guys, if I'm doing $500,000 in GCI and I'm running my business on a 50-50 split, meaning 50% of my sales come from the buyer side and 50% of my sales come from the listing side, how much money is going to the buyer agent side of the business? It's $250,000. And I also have $250,000 going to the seller side. So seller side and buyer side. Now, my cost of sales on a 50-50 split is $125,000. Race, do this the right way. My cost of sales on the buyer side is $125,000. And my expenses on $500,000 is $150,000. That's 30%. So I have 30%, slightly less actually, on cost of sales. And I have 30% on expenses. And that's leaving $225,000 in profit. And there's my 30-30-40 model. All right, that's a hot mess, and hopefully you got that. Stop share. Get rid of this. Talk to me.
Oh no.
Guys, I hope that made sense to you, but
John,
yes.
in this formula, I mean, obviously we all know this, but taxes are also, it's not in this formula, or is that part of expenses?
Well, what do you pay taxes on?
Your income.
Your net
Net,
income.
net, net.
You'd pay taxes on your net income.
Net, right.
So you would
Okay.
pay in that model, if you're generating $500,000 in gross income, you're paying taxes on $225,000.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know, where that number went. Okay.
Hey,
Yep.
John.
Yeah. Hi, Sean.
Morning. Like you ought to be able to do that at that level with a slimmer amount of expenses overall. I mean, the cost of sales is fixed, but the expenses seem like, it seems like you ought to be able to do that on a slimmer budget with less people.
I don't disagree, Sean. For example, on page 157, the amount that Gary has in the chart of accounts, which is available to you guys, by the way, kellerinc.com. You can download the chart of accounts. Lead generation is at 10%, which means if I'm generating $500,000 in GCI, my lead generation is $50,000. Now, Sean, do I need to spend $50,000 to create leads? No, I don't. I can create leads for $10,000 and I just added $40,000 to my bottom line.
And the roles are full-time roles, not like if you have a transaction coordinator that's just doing a per transaction type thing, that can fit in your level one.
100%. The transaction coordinator doesn't become a member of your team until, let's just say you're paying them $400 per closing. Michael, why did we change our name today?
It was another name. I forgot to change it back.
Okay, because I almost called you Sam.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's a good thing I know who you are. All right. So the transaction coordinator does not become a full-time member of your team until $400 per transaction is more than $26,000.
Right.
Until then, they're not a member of your team.
Does that change if you are adding that cost into your transactions as a transaction fee so that it scales?
It could, Sean. If you're adding money as a transaction fee, then you're actually recovering the fee for the transaction coordinator. You're actually zeroing that out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's no longer an expense because your customer is paying for it.
Right.
Yeah. Which, by the way, is fine. And you absolutely can do that. And then I don't want to go down a bunny trail here, but according to the Florida Association of Realtors, if you're going to charge a transaction fee, you just have to be able to show that you're providing additional service that you wouldn't if you didn't charge that fee. And is a transaction coordinator additional service? 100%, yes. Is your customer going to have a better experience because you have a transaction coordinator? Yes, as long as you have the right transaction coordinator. All right, what'd you hear, guys? It's 8:31, time to get to work. So what did you hear? What are your ahas?
I think one of the things that, as you said before, most of the times when you're looking at any type of service, they generally promote it as, hey, you'll recoup your money if you just do this one transaction. Mm-hmm. And as you said, the ROA's got to be at least 4, more likely 10 or more than that. Yeah. Because if you're just replacing the money that it costs, then you're just working for the other company. And there's no profit for you or anything like that. So that's a lot of times I just shake my head when somebody tries to sell me something and go, if you just do one transaction, you've paid for it. Hey, well, I need to make 4 transactions to pay for it.
So I'd give you a script for all those people who call you trying to sell you products and services in order to increase your business. My script would simply be, Michael, I'll agree to purchase whatever it is you're selling as long as you guarantee that I'm going to get at least a 4-time return for the investment and I can cancel the contract at any time. If you're going to lock me into a 12-month agreement, conversation over.
Yep.
And if I'm not getting a 4-time return, I'll give you 90 days, just like I would when I hire someone. You have
Thank you.
90 days to prove this works. And if 90 days from now, I'm not getting at least a 4-time return, red light. All right, who's next? One more? Of course. Victoria, here we go. All right, time to get to work. So what is work? Work is, and guys, I know a conversation on the budget model is not the most exciting conversation ever. However, aren't you glad that you're part of a company that has created a playbook for you so that you know how to build your real estate business according to the budget in order to make a profit instead of just winging it? I don't know about you, but I am. So grateful for this information, even though it may not be the most exciting conversation ever. All right, time to get to work. What is work? Work is 20 conversations. Until you've had 20 conversations, you haven't worked. It's not 19 conversations, it's not 18, it's not 17, because when you settle for 17 conversations, the 18th conversation could have been $1 million listing that you didn't get, and you never knew you didn't get it because you didn't make the call. All right, the purpose of every conversation or contact is to build relationships. Remember, these are care calls, not sale calls. And we are focused on getting an appointment, getting a referral, or adding somebody to our database. Get face-to-face with one person every single day who's thinking of buying a home or thinking of selling a home. Doesn't matter if it's 30 days from now, 6 months from now, or a year from now, because a year from now you need listings. And then follow up. Have a systematic formula. Use smart plans in command to follow up forever. And follow up forever means we reject rejection, and no is not a word that lives in our vocabulary. No simply means not yet. And I'm going to keep following up with them no matter what they say. And when I follow up forever, I'm creating emotional proximity. And when I create emotional proximity, when they get ready to buy or sell, in other words, they're serious, I'm still talking to them, which means they're going to hire me. All right, 20 conversations, get face-to-face with one person today thinking of buying or selling a home. Add one person to your database, follow up forever. Guys, it's really that simple. It's that simple. Success is simple and not easy. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for the pleasure of your time. Make it an incredible Monday. And I will see everybody tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, John.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Thanks, John.
My pleasure.
You.
Thank you.